Hey guys, it's Scott with Scottie B Cards, and in this video, I want to discuss who the best grading company to send your cards to are right now. So what I want to do in this video, instead of me just sharing my opinion and other people's opinion, I want to actually pretend, let's have a situation where you and I join a break for 2011 Topps Update, a 1-pack break for $100, and we pull a Mike Trout 2011 Topps Update rookie card. Now, we're going to look at each grading company and figure out which one is the smartest company to send these cards to. We're going to look at a few different things, including cost, turnaround time, gem rate, to figure out what's the best place for this specific example, where should I send my card to. So I'm going to show the top grading companies, and then we'll discuss after. Okay, let's go with this. Honorable mentions. There's a lot of different grading companies right now. There's ISA, FCG, GMA, Tag is the big one right now. HGA had its moment in the sun recently, but I'm focusing on the big four. And you're familiar with the big four, and we'll discuss them in this video. One thing I do want to note is I'm ignoring quarterly specials because a quarterly special you cannot usually submit one card to. And I'm also ignoring bulk rates for that exact same reason. You usually don't get bulk rates when you're sending one card in. And I'm not including next day or same day levels because you wouldn't pay $500, $300 for the specific Trout card, probably be paying around $100. So I want to discuss those price points. So let's talk about BGS, Beckett Grading Service. The cost. Let's discuss how much it is to submit to BGS. Right now, if you want the base value, it's $22 for one individual card. The standard is $40 for one individual card. And the priority, which is the more express option, is $140 for one individual card. Turnaround times, you're looking at base being 40 to 60 business days. That's important because BGS has business days while other grading companies just say days and they actually count the calendar days. We have standard or regular, which is 10 to 20 business days. And then we have priority, which is 2 to 5 business days. The gem rate. So one thing you'll see is that they aren't the quickest turnaround times. Their pricing's affordable, but not necessarily super low. But let's look at their gem rate. Right now, we are seeing their 6,973 BGS graded Mike Trout Update rookie cards with a BGS 9.5 gem rate of 62.7%. BGS 9.5 is the same as a PSA 10 according to their own standards. Each company considers that their gem mint card. The difference is BGS also has a pristine and a black label. And the BGS 10 pristine is a 3.3% chance on this specific card, and a BGS 10 black label is a 0.4% chance on this specific card. Now let's go to SGC. We have the standard, which is $24, the priority, which is $125, and that's it. Then we have turnaround times of 5 to 10 days, not business days, just days according to their website, and priority is 1 to 2 days. SGC is doing phenomenal on turnaround times, and their pricing is almost the same as BGS. Now let's look at gem rate. For gem rate, we have 858 of these cards graded. An SGC 9.5 Mint Plus, that is not their gem card, that's their 9.5, which is just below their mint grade, which is the 10 right here. That's a 23.31% odds of getting that card. And then you have an SGC 10 Gem Mint, which is a 14.36% odds. Then you have an SGC 10 Pristine, which is less than 1% at 0.82%. That's a gold label around this border right here. After SGC, we have PSA. With PSA, it costs $25 for one card through value, $40 through value plus, $75 for regular, $150 for express, and the turnaround time is 65 days for value, 20 days for value plus, regular is 10 days, and express is 5 days. Not as fast as BGS or SGC, but overall, they're not too far behind. Then we have the gem rate. They have 12,277 2011 Topps Update Mike Trout rookie cards graded at PSA, with PSA 9s being 32.35% and a PSA 10 being almost a 50% gem rate. Not necessarily a hard card to grade, they're usually centered, and on top of that, the corners, if they have a slight ding, they hide it really well because they're white and not a darker border. They usually show chipping and edge wear easier. Let's look at our last competitor, which is CSG. The cost, we have economy at $15, standard at $20, express at $75. Turnaround time economy is only 10 days. So for $15, you get your card back in 10 days for one card, which is crazy. Standard is 1 week, then express is 3 days. So for turnaround time and cost, CSG is killing it. And I think CSG is going to be a bigger player in the future just because, one, their cases actually do look really good. I want to keep my opinion out of this, but I think CSG is doing better than I ever thought they would, if I'm being honest. Gem rate, they only have 97 of these cards graded because they are more of a new company, so it's a little bit harder to say if they're doing good or bad on the gem rate. But as of right now, their CSG 9.5 Mint Plus, very similar to SGC's Mint Plus, not BGS's. BGS's, the gem mint at 9.5, is only a 5.16%, and the CSG 10 is a 35% gem rate. So it's really tough to get a highly graded Mike Trout 2011 Topps Update with CSG. And the last one I do want to show is the perfect 10. There is not one perfect 10 with CSG on the Mike Trout 2011 Topps update because they have really high standards and it's such a low amount already submitted to them. Okay, let's look at pricing to see which one has the best value. You're going to see right out of the gate that the BGS 10, I included it here. It's the only pristine I included, is going to get you a value about $2,600. Then you have the PSA 10 is the next most valuable at $1,899. You have the SGC 10 at $1,494. You have the SGC 9.5 surprisingly above the BGS 9.5 on average with $864, and then you have the BGS 9.5 usually around $800. The last sale was an outlier at $1,300. You can see it spike right here. That's because it was a true gem plus, meaning it had two 9.5s and two 10s. And then at the bottom we have a PSA 9 at $704. The surprising thing here is how bad BGS is doing in comparison to competition. You'll notice CSG is not on this graph. That's just because a 2011 Topps Update Mike Trout rookie card graded with CSG is not on Card Ladder's website currently. And on top of that, not many have sold lately at all, so I couldn't really be comfortable because this is a 3-month span. So for that purpose, I'm going to assume it's very similar to the SGC 10 pricing. That's what I'm guessing. There is a COMC auction ending, which is why you see the COMC logo right here. This is their card that's ending this week, and I'll give us a better idea once this video comes out. But you'll notice that the SGC 10 and the SGC 9.5 is essentially higher than the BGS 9.5 at this point. So there's really not a great reason to go with BGS aside from the gem rate is significantly higher for BGS versus an SGC 10 and an SGC 9.5 combined. It's easier to get a BGS 9.5 according to the pop report. But overall, this is kind of surprising. You can take a minute and look at all of these numbers. You'll notice that the BGS 10 used to have a much higher valuation and it's dropped quite a bit. And PSA 10 is basically catching up to the BGS 10 pricing. And I do feel like SGC, their growth over the last few months is insane compared to BGS. They have now passed them in regards to value, and it's pretty obvious. We saw SGC 10s going for more than BGS 9.5s on occasion in the past, but now it's essentially every single time at this point. So turnaround time. Let's discuss who's the best on turnaround time. We have SGC as number 1 in my eyes. CSG is number 2. BGS is number 3, and then PSA number 4. The problem with BGS is they're really inconsistent where they usually sometimes make it, but sometimes cards get held up. But so far, SGC at number 1 and CSG number 2, they could be interchangeable. They're really doing the best between these 4. Now we do value based off of gem mint grade. We have PSA. PSA 10 goes from the highest amount. Then we have SGC with their SGC 10 going for more than a BGS 9.5. I have CSG at number 3 just because I can almost guarantee it'll go more than a BGS 9.5 at this point. And then we have BGS with their lowly 9.5 grade at number 4 out of these big companies. So now let's talk about best value. When I say best value, I want to look at if you send your cards to this specific company, are you going to get your money back? So let's look at this. PSA is number 1. They have the highest gem rate for any company that gives a 10 for their gem mint card grade, and they're kicking butt there, and they have the highest gem rate value. So number 1, without a doubt, you'd send to PSA. Even though the turnaround times are a little bit slow, they're last in that category. At this point, we're pretty close, and PSA's website says one thing, and they're usually getting the cards back quicker, while the other grading companies are usually right where they say they're going to be. At number 2, SGC 10 is great. It's second in value, and an SGC 9.5 is basically the same or more than a BGS 9.5 at this point because people like the SGC brand. I don't personally agree with an SGC 9.5 going for more than a BGS 9.5 because the BGS 9.5 is technically a higher grade, and I like BGS cases more personally. But either way, they're the clear number 2 in my eyes on who you would send this card to. At number 3 and number 4, you could argue either of them. The reason I put BGS in front of CSG is simply because the CSG gem rate is really low on the specific card. So I don't know if they're tougher on corners and edges, even though it's a white border than these other grading companies. Because BGS has a 63% gem rate on this card, you're almost guaranteed to get that, or you're pretty close to it. Well, BGS does offer a 10 black label upside, which is the biggest, most valuable graded sports card in the entire industry. So for that purpose, BGS might be slightly higher, but I also see the real argument for CSG being above BGS because they're up and coming. And on top of that, their turnaround times are amazing. But for me, the clear number 1 is going to be PSA and then SGC, and then these two are going to fight it out the next few years, and we'll see who wins. But other than that, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my takes and where you would send your 2011 Topps Update Mike Trout card to, and I will see you in the next video.